Thank you. We'll call this meeting of the Macon County Board of Commissioners to order, and I'd like to welcome everybody. And I'm not all of a sudden the bass singer, I'm sick. So I apologize for not doing my normal shake hands, but I don't want to make everybody sick. I've got some kind of cold. So since we sit this way, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, I will make both the Democrats sick. There is a political.
He does that being sick.
So I can get to them even in my illness. So anyway, I do apologize for my voice. Hope I hold up. If I don't, I'll be turning the meeting over to Vice Chairman Cuppers. That point happens. Gentlemen, are there any announcements that need to be made? And we'll start with Mike or Mr. Manager. I do. I'll do that.
I'd like to, just in our moment of silence, remember this is 9/11 today.
Absolutely.
Another not pleasant announcement, Mr. Chairman, we have a county, one of the members of the Macon County family, Mr. Dennis Tippett. I don't know if y'all, y'all know Dennis, he's a dispatcher. Dennis has been diagnosed with a very severe illness. We're putting together a benefit for Dennis for October the 13th. That's on Saturday. That'll be up at the Mountain View School. It'll be a hot dog, so bring $100 for a hot dog. You're welcome to come in. Even though Dennis, he's gone to Philadelphia, it's very serious. Dennis is a young man, has a young family, and been a long-term employee of the county. And of course, there's a lot of sick folks, but this is it's not good, and we're going to try to reach out and help this family. So on October 13th, if you put that on your calendar, we'd certainly expect every county employee now. You will see that, Mr. Manager. You got that. So that's one announcement, and we'll have some more announcements when Mr. Setzer and Mr. Grindstaff get their report.
Sure. Of course, that Ron mentioned today, September 11th, anniversary of that, but there's another thing that happened in this county on September 10th, back 50-some odd years ago. Ronnie
And one more before we move on. Let's do remember that this is the Macon County Fire Week. We still have the only true agriculture fair left in the state of North Carolina. We encourage you to come out. It'll start at Wednesday at 1 o'clock with opening ceremonies. The fair continues to grow. We're expecting all-time record highs in number of people. So y'all can slide that in there, Brittany and Kim and Colin.
We got a whole big old article about it. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it.
That's Wednesday afternoon through Sunday.
That's right.
Any opportunity. Commissioner Cuppers, any that? Commissioner Tate? The what? Well, if you, yeah, I want you to do that. Or you don't need to tell that. We got a call from Representative Roger West, and no. And the Speaker of the House, Tom Tillis, is going to spend 3 days in West North Carolina, 2 days in Macon County. So we'll have him here, not as a political visit. He's obviously not running for this area. He's cute, Ronnie. I'll cough on you. But we're going to be, I think we talked to Sheriff Hall. We're going to be spending some time with the Speaker, showing him some of the sites in the area and some of the things that we feel like are needs in this area. So we invite any of you that would like to be a part of that, if you just let me know. And we're holding a fundraiser for, if you want to attend that, Ron, we're glad to get you tickets.
Yeah, it ain't no medical, it's fun.
I'm making a public announcement. Anybody welcome to come. The other thing that I had was we wanted to recognize one of our own, Steve Ledford, as many of you know, is our Public Works Director for Macon County. And Steve was inducted, I believe this was Friday, Jack, is that right? Into the North Carolina Mountain State Fair Livestock Hall of Fame. That's a mouthful, but that's a pretty big deal. I think they induct maybe 1 or 2 people a year this year. A guy named Stiles from, I believe Mike was from Cherokee County, and then Steve Ledford of Macon County. Each one of them received a plaque for their accomplishments. In addition, there'll be a plaque in their honor displayed in the livestock arena following the state fair. So that's a pretty big deal. And there's an article out on it, if you've not seen it, on the North Carolina Department of Agriculture website with a nice quote from Agriculture Commissioner Steve Troxler. He said Steve has had a tremendous impact on animal agriculture in western North Carolina. So we're proud of Steve, proud that he's one of our own county employees. So Steve, we're proud of him. Let's give Steve a nice hand.
Steve continues to work with all the young folks through the Macon County Fire with their with the cattle and the steers. So he's a great asset not only to the county, but in a lot of ways that people don't know.
Anything else? If we're going to stand and have our own silence. Commissioner Hayden mentioned 9/11. Certainly remember that. Certainly remember the families we mentioned here tonight for having illness. And this is the time we can just sort of reflect on what's important to us and take the thoughts of the day out of our mind and focus on the business at hand tonight. So if you would join me in silence. Thank you. Commissioner Haven's going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be seated. We have a public hearing, I guess, Jack scheduled with North Carolina Department of Transportation, the secondary road program. So Chester, we need to call that into session. Every committee we do. So this time we'll call that hearing to order. And gentlemen, we recognize you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Joel Setzer. I work for the North Carolina Department of Transportation. My office is in Silva, and I represent a 10-county region. I'm a division engineer, so I'm on staff with the department. Been with us for about 26 years working on transportation. I want to say thank you for allowing the Department of Transportation to come and meet with you again this year. This is an annual meeting that we have to seek approval for our secondary road improvement program. And it's really kind of a legacy from when the state took over the county roads years ago in late 20s, early 30s, that the General Assembly at that time decided that we want to make sure that the state agency that was working on the county road network coordinated with the county on improvements that might be made to that network. So they passed a law that said before we go in and spend the monies available for secondary road improvements, that we coordinate with the county and we advertise the program in the county and just don't run in and do as we please. We seek your approval. So that's what the purpose of tonight's meeting is, to fulfill that statutory obligation. But we are also here to hear what's on your mind on any transportation program that the state administers or runs, and certainly glad to talk about other transportation issues that may be on your mind and crop up from time to time. We do have a new DOT board member for the Division 14 area, which is a 10-county area in western North Carolina. And his name is Larry Kearney from Murphy, North Carolina. He's the executive director for Murphy Power Board. Larry couldn't be with us here tonight, but sends his regards and says he looks forward to working with the commissioners here and the folks in Macon County on transportation. So anyway, on behalf of Mr. Kearney, he sends his regards. We have some other folks here with us from NCDOT that I would like to introduce. Mr. Wesley Grindstaff right here is our district engineer for a 4-county part of Division 14, including Macon County. And his office is in Andrews, and Wesley helps me in implementing the transportation programs and getting out to hot spots and visiting with people on a moment's notice, because it's too much for one person trying to get around to a 10-county region. So we've got 3 districts within our division, and Wesley heads up one of those and has actually been working hands-on on this secondary road program. And in a moment, I'll call on Wesley to present that program to you. We have Mark Gibbs here, who works with me and Silver for the 10-county regions with maintenance issues. All of our maintenance engineers throughout the region are staffed directly to Mark, as well as our bridge maintenance unit, our road oil paving unit, and our equipment shop folks. So he's got a lot of folks that work for him, and tries to go out and work on the tough issues that come up, and then supports the county maintenance engineer. And then Steve Cannon is the county maintenance engineer for Macon and Clay County, and administering our maintenance program, trying to apply the maintenance dollars to the best overall needs. All of our funds are limited, as most everybody faces that situation in government. But Steve puts together our maintenance programs and schedules work, and then passes that off to Mr. Jim House here, who goes out and sends crews out to patch potholes, fix shoulders, discuss drainage issues with property owners, and gets up in the middle of the night and brings folks in to push snow and all those kind of things that we get to do. And then Adam Doctor, a moment there. Adam here works for Wesley and putting together secondary road programs. But we are happy to be here tonight and appreciate the collaboration, the cooperation that we've had with Macon County over the years. It's been a good relationship, and we've done a lot of good work together. And also by coming out, just once a year, we also are available to come out as needed. And then we occasionally see Mr. Bill, who has worked through the Rural Planning Association. And so we appreciate the relationship. And for those of you I don't know you, Mr. Tate, working with you. Macon County's share of secondary road improvement dollars for fiscal year 2013 is $565,374.11. The General Assembly determines how much money will go into secondary road improvements. There is a law that says a certain amount of the gas tax will be set aside for secondary road improvements. And each year the General Assembly, like y'all would have to do, has to go through the state budget and make decisions about where to take the money and where to apply the money. And once they decide how much money will be used on a statewide level for secondary road improvements, then the money goes directly to each county through a formula. It's based off the pro rata share of the county's secondary road mileage. The Macon County has 1% of the secondary road mileage in the state of North Carolina, and Macon County gets 1% of that pot of money that the General Assembly set up for secondary road improvements. So all that's figured by formula. Then after the General Assembly decides what their budget's going to be, then our district engineers, Wesley, in the case of Macon County, goes in and tries to look at what we've got left to do from prior years and our balances from prior years, and balances all that out, then looks and tries to pick the best application for the remaining money based off his input and what he's been faced with, and input from the public, input from you guys. So anyway, Wesley has put together our program, and then after the presentation of the program, you will be asked to consider to adopt the program. If you adopt the program, then we can proceed on with delivering that program, and then if we need to come back and work on that program some more, then that's what we'll do. After Wesley gets done presenting the program, we'll take commissioners' questions or comments, and then we're also here for a public hearing to hear from the citizens of the county, and then anybody else that may have a question or comment, so we'll be glad to address their questions. And again, what you'll be asked to adopt is for the secondary road program monies, but if you have other questions about other programs, we'll be around, and that's why we kind of bring a little team here, is to try to answer all your questions. So I'll invite Wesley to go over the program.
Welcome, Wesley. Thank you, Joel. Thank you, Commissioners. My name's Wesley Grindstaff. I'm district engineer with DOT. As Joel said, I work out of Andrews, and I cover 4 western West counties: Cherokee, Clay, Graham, and Macon County. I'm going to go over the secondary road program with you for fiscal year 2013. When the sheriff walked in tonight, he looked at me and said, "Is this going to take long?" And I looked down at the program, and I assured him it was going to be free. So, yeah, it is. First, you'll see this amount, this $565,000. That is considerably less than what you have seen in the past. So we were not allocated the funds that we had typically received in the past. So what I want to do is first start with that first column you see. I'm hoping all of y'all have a program. I think I got you one, folks, on it. I had left a stack back there on the table as well. If anyone needs, there should be plenty of copies back there. The first columns that you see are projects that we presented to you last year, fiscal year 2012, and you all had approved. These projects are for AST strengthening, or that chip seal type application that you see on a lot of our roads that we do. Our road oil unit that performs this operation out of Silva, they cover the entire 10-county division, and on the far east ends and the far west ends, they hit every other year and spend 2 years allocations when they come in, and it's a fairly expensive operation to mobilize. There's a lot of equipment and everything. It doesn't take them long to spend this much money.
Just to clarify, is that the process where you put the spray in the chat? Spray, chat?
It's very in chat.
Yeah.
Projects were not done last year. This is their year to be there. They will be here in the spring. But we are still committed to providing this application to SR 1613 Clear Creek Road, Bethel Church Road, Bucknob Road, and Blue Valley Road as promised last year. Those remaining costs combined with some over expenditures we had with last year's funds leave us with a negative balance starting in at $239,190. The available amount, as I mentioned, is $565,374, which leaves us an amount available to the program of $326,185. Our proposal to spend that this year is, the first two are standing work orders that have been here around and you see every year for preliminary engineering. The first one is preliminary engineering survey, right-of-way acquisition, road addition investigations, those type activities. We are proposing to allocate $37,269 toward completion of those. Next, we are proposing to allocate $115,000 toward our unpaved road stabilization. That is there to machine unpaved roads that we own, add stone on those roads, and keep an acceptable level of service. Last year wasn't too bad with the winter we had. The years before, I know y'all's phones rang off like ours did. People, roads were those harsh winters, they were hard on our unpaved roads, so we have supplemented those operations. The last project is a project that we also programmed initially last year and we partially funded, is for the rehabilitation of SR 1603 Horse Cove Road. It's a fairly large project beginning just outside of Highland and runs down into the Horse Cove Road there. Excuse me, that length that's a mistake. I made a mistake there, but it's a little over 3 miles of roadway. It begins at Bowery Road and terminates at 1606, which is Whiteside Cove Road. we combined that project with our secondary contract resurfacing for 2012. Almost all of our 2012 secondary road program from last year, as well as the amount of $173,915 needed to complete that project. We have let that to contract. It's been awarded. It was let in conjunction with the resurfacing of the Highlands Road. The total cost of that project is going to be right at pushing $1.4 million, so it was a fairly sizable project. It took a couple of years application. It was a very much needed project and worthwhile, I feel. So, with that being said, we have made record time spending $565,000, but that is how we are proposing to spend the fiscal year 2013 funds. If you will flip the page, Joel has also asked for the last couple of years, he's asked us to provide 2 years anticipated, so you, the commissioners, the board of commissioners, will know what direction we were proposing to go in and give you plenty of time to review and make comments on our work. You'll see, I'm just briefly going to go through these. You can read them at your leisure. The two countywide survey, or the two countywide work orders for the surveying and run paved road stabilization, proposing to fund those there. The AST strengthening, looking at doing this operation and taking a percentage of the funds and doing it every year. We're proposing those to go on Long Branch Road, Kirkland Road, Cowie to Lab Road, Vestal Cochran, Otter Mountain Road, and Hampton Branch Road. Many of those are in the Nantahala community. Some of them doesn't jump out at you. The last project, and this is one that's been ongoing for several years now. As we've had funding, been on and off of it, but the last portion of the Mountain Grove / Onion Mountain Road, we are desperately wanting to finish that section up. We're in what we call the easy part now, so we're on the far east end of that project and near completion. We're proposing to take the remaining of 2014 allocations and supplement that project. Flip to 2015. While we're on that road, if you look at the bottom, we've got about another $60,000 left over, so we're going to try to finish that road out by the end of 2015. Also in 2015, the AST strengthening that we mentioned on Bethel Church, Lopes Road, Gold Mine, Dindy Orchard, and actually doing a road that was recently added to the system, Burningtown Church Road. We're looking at widening and paving that roadway to facilitate the homes and church on that road with the 2015 program. Those are there for your information, for your review. You can look at and feel free to contact me in the future. Out of this meeting, what we're really asking for is the 2013. That's the one that we'll ask you to consider if you're in agreement to pass the resolution. And I think you have that resolution on the file. Be happy to take any questions you have from the commissioners or from the public on this road program and answer the best we can.
And Wesley, just clarification, I think everybody understands, but just to be clear, the 2014 allocation, 2015, you actually don't have those funds yet, so you just use the figures for this year and assume that you're going to get the same thing. It may be more, maybe less.
That is exactly right. Yeah, we're hoping for more, but we go on.
Especially, I think we need to mention that the capping of the gas tax is a double-edged sword. The capping of the gas tax is limited to funding. If you don't speak to that, Joe, we've had this discussion.
Right.
And so if you want to speak to that, by capping the gas tax, of course, it limits the funds, especially for secondary road maintenance and upgrades. So if you want to speak to that.
The General Assembly did make a choice to cap the gas tax, to keep it from rising. The gas tax rises with the price of wholesale fuel. And wholesale fuel, you've seen what's happened with that. So the gas tax would have risen, and so General Assembly decided to cap it. And when they did so, they had to adjust the budget. And when they adjusted the budget, they had to make choices about where to take it from. And secondary road program was one of those places. There was also some transfer. I'm not a budget expert, but I do know there was some kind of transfer from secondary road funds to plug a hole somewhere in the general fund.
Want to make that. Now, how many miles of unpaved roads do we still have, Wesley?
Macon County, almost 100, between 95 and 100. Now, those are roads that we have offered paving to
in the past that right-of-way was unavailable or there's some environmental issues that have not yet been resolved with Macon Road, but they're right at 100 miles.
So that's where we put the unpaved road stabilization, that's to keep those at 100 miles up.
If you have a bad room, the body keeps falling out of them, and I'll call Wesley, and he'll come and we'll go, and as RPO, and that's through the whole district. But, Mr. Chairman, just let me say about our DOT, and not only Mr. Sandstrom, Mr. Grindstaff, but also Jimmy Ag, this year tonight. It's never failed that when we've called on these folks that we needed help somewhere, maybe they couldn't do it right then, but they certainly put out an effort, and it's appreciated. I think the citizens appreciate it, and we appreciate it very much. The work that was done on Buck Creek Road, we don't know if it saved lives or not, but we can sleep better, you know. So thank you for that. Thank you for the pavement. I bet you talked to the commissioner who paid on me, and I think he appreciates the pavement, and they've done a great job. So we still have many concerns about the county and taking over the road program. That's not a dead subject, as we all know. And we worry about that, especially here in the mountains. So we appreciate what to do, and all we can do, Mecklenburg County left have it tomorrow. That's been said to me.
That's
By the guy coming to do the benefit.
That's one thing that we talked to Mr. Till's about.
Yeah, well, he's from Mecklenburg County, he'd be good to talk to. But we need to, we can't imagine what it would do to our tax rate here, to see what the state does. But I just want to say, having worked closely with Mr. Grindstaff and with Jim Ash, had Scott Cook over here this week, me and him rode all over looking at some signage that we'd like to get improved on, and he's working with us on that. We appreciate those things. So we thank you for the job that you do, and we know that we would, Wesley and I had talked about what kind of money we'd end up with, and we're, it's a little bit more than what I thought we'd end up with, which I'll just be honest with you. And I'm glad, we appreciate it. It ain't much.
I remember them years for $4.5 million.
Oh, yeah, I do too. But we also know that if there's a road in any of our districts sitting on this board that needs some attention, you'll contact these men, they'll somebody come talk to you. So just want to throw that in.
Thank you, sir. That's been a great stuff. We have studied that to see if the traffic counts and accident history are enough to meet the warrants for a traffic signal. The state of North Carolina adopts a national standard for putting in traffic signals. It's called the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, or the MUTCD as people in the trade call it. And it lists a certain number of warrants for putting in a signal. And then it says if you don't meet these warrants, you really take on a liability and really a lot of risk as an agency for putting in the traffic signal. So if we put in a traffic signal where it doesn't meet the warrants, and we have a crash, then we have to legally defend why we put that traffic signal in that did not meet the industry standards for putting in traffic signals. So we don't put them in unless we meet those standards. And we counted that intersection once, and it did not meet the warrants for a traffic signal. Some questions always come up when you count it, and people want the traffic signal about did you count it at the right time? You counted it when we had no traffic out there, so we went back and recounted it and substantiated our first findings. So right now, the department's position is we can't put a traffic signal in. So we started looking around at other options, and did we just not discuss this one the other day, and did we just not decide to put some money on it, the right turn lane, my recollection?
Yeah, Scott Cook, you mentioned, I don't want to take over, but he looked at it, and it's his opinion as a traffic engineer, and that's what he does, that an extended right turn lane that backs up through the school driveway there will alleviate a lot of that queuing. Joel,
We had that discussion.
So, can't do a traffic signal for some legal reasons. We looked around at what we could do. And what we could do was this right turn lane. And we discussed it with probably about 20 other projects about another fund called Small Construction Funding about 2 weeks ago. And this was one of 3 projects that made it. So we felt good that we were able to do that for Macon County. But I have to say no to the traffic signal right now. But yes, hopefully something that will give you some relief.
Yes, just to follow up on that, Scott did come over one morning early, and we met him out there, myself and the superintendent, who, deputy sheriff said,
Yeah.
traffic out there. And we watched the traffic flow, and Scott thought that right lane could turn, would eliminate a lot of problems. And actually did have a discussion with the 2 officers who out there directing traffic, of course, that one that they agreed. They thought that would actually work better in that situation, and they're out there every day, and they put in their signal. So he thought that was probably a good solution, at least for the time being, and this is good to know that you're moving ahead on it.
Well, I think whatever you have on it, Mr. Central, why you've asked me about this, and I know I asked you last time. I know that our sheriff department budget has come way down, and something there. I know that I was speaking to the sheriff not too long ago about the expense of the officers out there. And, it's just been real good. And one more thing I wanted to ask about, we don't have any on the big one project list. Is there anything coming inside?
The Needmore Road is part, it was initially part of this type of program, secondary roads program. It got to where the environmental concerns and the environmental agency concerns became so great that the department took that project out of this program and put it in our statewide transportation improvement program. And therein it is. Now, we for years have been in coordination and consultation with environmental agencies about how we're going to improve that road and, protect the resources, mostly in the river. There are other resources. There's a cultural resource, like a historic district. I'll look back at what Brian said. There's, I gave the night off, I guess. But anyway, the real short end of it is we're still working on trying to reach a consensus that gives that road meaningful improvements that also we can get permits from environmental agencies.
Well, I can't let you get out of
Let
here.
me ask mine first. You
Oh,
got
come
mine.
on now. I've been waiting real patient over here.
Do we know where we stand, Wesley, on the, and we put this before, and we, in Macon County, this was one of the top 3 things. We think it's the most dangerous section of road we have. And that's, of course, coming from at the intersections, as you go across the bypass, from there to the end of the fairgrounds. With all these turning lanes, and nobody knows which lane to get in, including myself. Then we proposed several things. What we'd like to see is a median with some turns in it. The study is in progress, I understand, or being looked at. And can you give us an update?
Yes. It was a project identified through the RPO, through Macon County, in this last call for projects to evaluate on a statewide priority. And that feeds our statewide transportation improvement program, which was just released to the Board of Transportation in the RPO last Wednesday. If I'm not mistaken, or at least I expected in that draft document, it was going to show a feasibility study. So what that means is, over the next year, the department will take the lead in conducting a feasibility study to begin the public process of considering a project like that. A project like that has a lot of impacts to travel patterns, and usually of a concern to the adjacent businesses. They want to know how customers are going to get in and out, and that's, of course, vital to their business. They want to know where turnarounds are going to be, and then people want to know, if we do these things, am I still going to have a viable business, and what the trade-offs are. Are we going to really solve the accident problems around there? So this feasibility study will be something that hopefully engages the public and starts to try to build some community consensus about what to do out there. Because we've looked at it as just transportation professionals, and anytime you restrict turning movements here, you push those turning movements downstream, and do you really make it safer? So we've got to bring in some, what I call traffic engineering super professionals.
The problem is you're not sure where to get in the lane to turn.
Yes.
Because there's so many turns off of it. If you had a limited number, you could still, are you saying that would just funnel those into a higher traffic?
If you put a median in, then you've got to figure out how to process the people that really wanted to go where that median blocked them from going. And you've got to
Still get it.
get to where they want to go.
Without
Of
having
course,
to
those
turn.
businesses want those customers still to come. And so it's,
Without having to turn.
That's what the business is.
But the bottom line is, it's probably, I don't know what the crash ratings are, that's the town and the state patrol has them. But we
Yes.
get pulled in the RPO and they're very, very high.
it's high, it ranked high enough, the project ranked well when you looked at all the needs across our region. The project ranked well, and so instead of just putting it in and trying to say, we're gonna do this, the reason we're going with the feasibility study is we want to know what it is we need to do out there. And plus, we need to engage the public and the business community about it. So
I
that's
think
why
for
we're
the
going
public,
with
I
it.
don't think you would have one public that would say that travels that road often or that goes out through there, that that's not the most dangerous place that they can drive. And then you have our visitors coming. I'm admitting to you that I get in the, they've never seen nothing like that.
Right.
I mean, I've never seen nothing else like that anywhere. So, that is a different path, and you got to admit.
It is it's a well-recognized concern by the department, by y'all, by the people that drive it, and the hard part is the solution.
That's right, what you do.
But we appreciate you
What's the
listening.
traffic count on average?
It's been a while since I've looked at it. I know where to look at it online, but
It's in the 20,000s.
I would guess anywhere from 18 to 25,000 vehicles per day, somewhere in that range.
It's a busy road. Busiest road in this county, isn't it?
That and what they call the old Franklin bypass part probably compete. But the problem is, that, the Franklin bypass part is a 4-lane divided road, and it's designed to handle a lot more traffic safely. And the road handles the traffic, it's the safety issue. It's not really a capacity problem, it's a safety
So thank you. We appreciate you pushing
Let me
it.
take you to a road that ain't traveled that much.
Okay.
A while back, we sat down in the office and we talked about
problem. Yes, sir.
you came back to us with a letter that had 4 options. We liked option D, as I recall. That's the last one on the list. My question now is, who writes the MOU and how soon can we sit down and let's put this thing on paper and stick a fork in the bridge, so to speak?
Okay.
I'd really like to get that MOU done so I can show it, so we can either say, yes, we'll do it, or we won't. We kind of have consensus, but we have not put it before the board in the form of an MOU for these guys to digest. And I guess, I don't know if I'm waiting on us or you're waiting on you or who we're waiting on, but we need to go ahead with that. I think we've agreed that the option when you're gonna do the inspection is the one that was most palatable. I think we knew that when we left the meeting. But you guys were official enough to put it in a letter. Now we need to get it in an MOU so I can get more consensus on it. I just, you know, whose move is it next, Joe? Yours or ours?
It's probably ours. And I'll
You should
check
find
on that
time,
and see if
in
we
all
can-
your spare time that you have in DOT, and I know there's a lot of it. If you could keep the Port Bridge in mind, we've been battling that for a while, and I'd sure like to put that in there.
I believe the county responded to our
I think we did.
request.
We did.
And then Mr. Burks took that to Raleigh, and then that's the last I recall.
That happens very often. Things go to Raleigh and they never come back. But I'd really appreciate it if you could kind of stick a fork in Raleigh down there and see if we
I'll
can
be
get
glad
that
to
thing out
follow
there.
up and see where we are.
We've been at this one, you know, I mean, that was my first official act. It'd be my last official act, but I'd sure like it to be my official act. So if you could get that moving, I'd really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Joe. And thank you for all you do. Y'all did a great job working with us. And we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Any other questions, guys?
I don't know if I mentioned it or I missed it, but what's the latest word on the Highlands Road trouble turnaround?
We went through a second round of public involvement and presented some additional alternatives. I think they're more or better received. And I'll just have to get you that
Are there other funds available to do that project out of another fund, or is that just part of our?
It is part of our TIP. It is a TIP project with the goal of doing everything we know that we can do to keep tractor trailers from making a mistake that they can go on that road.
Would be helpful to all of us.
Before Joel sets down, two quick things. One pleasant, one not so pleasant at all. First of all, Mr. Setzer, our hearts and condolences go out to your DOT family for the loss of your DOT and these fellows' colleagues in Cherokee County. And along with that, I've been talking to Jimmy Ash and some others that on the association, they have a subcommittee on transportation. And we're worried about our folks in Macon County that's out there on the road. And I know that that's a vague thing about when you put up speed limits and for people to slow down, but I would ask you tonight if there's anything that you can help us with on that. I'd like to bring that before the Transportation Committee and Association and see if we can put that in there to protect. You know, that accident made, if you don't know, there was 2 young men killed in Cherokee County about 7 weeks ago. And tragic death. One father of 9. 9 children. And that might could have happened without that, but you know, I see them down on 28th, that's where I live, and some of the folks that live there, they tell you how they drive through those work zones and men working. And those are our residents here in our county. You know, I know the DOT workers, but they're also our residents. So, and it's very big on what you can, best I can tell, Joel, what we can do and what gives Jimmy Ace the latitude to say, hey, slow down or you'll get a ticket. So we're willing to certainly carry that water down there and do the best we can working with Mr. Kearney. And if there's anything we can do to help prevent that in the future, not only for our county, but for any county. So.
Well, I will say in response to that, first of all, thank you, because highway safety and work, this is where we work. This is where y'all are working. I saw a video one time showing a guy sitting in an office and the tractor trailer blowing by and said, how would you like a speeding tractor trailer that went through your office? And that's what they do. It goes beyond DOT. It hurts us because we're the latest victims. Utility workers out there, law enforcement officers are out there, and contractors are out there working on roads. We would just encourage people to step up their attentiveness slow down and be ready to stop when they go into work zones. And they see any kind of work zone, utility workers, law enforcement, contractors, or architects. A lot of people drive with respect and care, and unfortunately, some don't. But we would appreciate any attention you can bring to that and any possible solutions.
And on the bright side,
Yes, sir.
as you know, we've been working on getting the bridge dedicated to the honor of Nathan Henry. We're glad to announce we have got that with a lot of help from a lot of folks in this room. But you can't say mention it without naming a person in particular, Mr. Connie Burrell, Secretary Conti, who we've met personally with, the chairman and myself, I think Mr. Cuthbert. And we thought it was a very important project. And when it got down to crunch time, it was Commissioner Kearney's first meeting when that came on the agenda. Me and him conversed. I don't know how long it took him to go to Raleigh, but we talked all the way from when he got there. So, but anyway, we're proud to announce that dedication will take place on October the 12th at 2 o'clock at the Veterans Memorial Park. Should be bad weather. It will be moved inside to the community building. We will have some very special guests with us from the state and from the local. So I think we appreciate your support on this, as well as other DOT officials and other divisions. We appreciate that. We think it's a worthy honor. And for the folks that don't know, the bridge that we're talking about that will be dedicated is the overpass bridge when you go over the 64 West East bypass. And that will be the bridge dedicated to Nathan Henry. Now, if you don't know who Nathan Henry is, that's a whole nother discussion. He's not only all veterans are heroes, but this man carries a special thing. But he was not given the bridge dedication because of his service. He was given the bridge dedication because of his community service. As we all have Blue Star highways in North Carolina, you don't see nothing named for veterans on the highway, you know. Because there's not enough to recognize all of our veterans. So Nathan Henry was recognized as his community effort, which is vast, and so we want to make that announcement. I asked the chairman, so that'll be on October the 12th, and we look for, it'll be a short program, there'll be some very special speakers, and we look forward to that, so thank you very much.
We look forward to it too. Mr. Henry certainly very deserving. Mr. Chairman.
One more. I've had several calls, and I really can't give an answer, but a lot of people want to continue to use the greenway, and we've lost.
I'm sorry I don't, but I'll be glad to get that information.
We were told November 1st.
I can tell you that I did call. I called Mr. Birch on that.
Okay.
And he was kind enough to get back to me, and I never did get back to him to tell him that I got his message.
Okay.
He basically said not before November 1st is what he thought. But then there were some other conversations, and maybe it's a little better than that. I think we're about that. But somewhere around November 1st. And really the issue is, I think, a run that we like to have. I'm just going to steal all your thunder. That's what you get for calling me, okay? And well, I'm going to let Dave Glenn talk to it when he gets here. I hope some of you will still be here when he gets that chance, because I think he's got a very important.
He's next on the agenda.
And we would really like to see if he can get access to the whole green.
Not just
That's
me,
our,
everybody.
that's our.
We'll stick around and we'll try to work with you and try to coordinate it.
He promised me he'd be short, so he won't take a long time, Joe.
It's in my height.
If we ever get this resolution voted on, we'll get him up here. So, thanks, Joe, appreciate that.
All right, gentlemen. What we've been asked to consider is the, Joel's, I understand it, the west of the,
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry.
I don't call for that, is the leftover from fiscal 2013.
The leftover from 2012, now that's already programmed. I just put that on there to let you know it's still going
So
to
we have to
happen.
vote on that, we must vote on the fiscal year 2013 program, which is, you notice there's 3 items. Do we have anyone else? We didn't have anybody signed up to speak, but we recognize anybody else that wants to speak to our secondary roads program this time? Anybody else? Okay. We
Declare it closed.
We declare the hearing closed at this time, gentlemen. I would entertain a motion to approve this plan as presented.
Motion to approve, Judge.
There's a motion by Commissioner Beal, second by Haven, to approve the program as presented. In discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen, for that. Next on the agenda is our public comment, and we have one person signed up, Mr. Dave Lynn. Dave, we're glad to, and Dave, just give us some background. Dave, you've been in contact with Commissioner Peppers and myself by email and by Facebook.
By Facebook and everything else. I mean, I'm raising heck on Facebook. I mean,
And
What it's there for.
so he chosen to come
I
down.
don't have it, Dave.
it's a habit. No, it's a habit at all.
Go ahead, Dave.
What I came tonight to speak to you guys about is the concern about the Greenway. I mean, not just for the half marathon for Reach, but also in general for health purposes for our community. It's a beautiful Greenway. My idea is, well, I saw November 15th recently, I freaked out and went, oh gosh, when is it officially the underpass for pedestrians going to be open? That's my question.
Best date I've got, Dave, is November 1st.
See, because
That
right
was
now,
the response.
Okay.
Now, whether that's going to be, and again, that's, they're slave to the letter too. If they don't get it done, then yeah, but November 1st is what we're talking
now, how
about.
much TLC is going to be involved in it? Is it going to be muddy? Is it going to be a lot of love?
Now you need to look that way.
Is it going to be love in this spot? Is it going to have gravel? Or is it going to be safe for our pedestrians to walk it every day, every morning?
I wish I could make a commitment and tell you some things, but I really don't know the background. But I will commit to you to explore your needs and meet your needs as best we can. I will make that.
I mean, so the area I found recently, I broke the law, officers. That was the first time ever. I crossed through the area that was barricaded off, and there was one little area about the size of here that needed a little love. That was it. That's the only area that I saw that was an issue. I mean, the rest of the area was beautiful. Y'all did a great job of keeping it clean, everything. I mean, that's the only area I saw that we would need for this half marathon for Reach that's coming up, and also for general.
Dave,
What's
tell
that
me
date,
what's the
Dave?
date.
Okay, November 3rd is Conquer Mountain Half Marathon. It's a benefit for Reach. You be ready for it.
Yeah. I'll be driving the lead car. They can follow me.
But it's November 3rd is our goal, but right now we have 75 people all from Texas, Alabama, and Mississippi coming here for this race. And that's, I mean, we have a month away, so we're going to have plenty more coming in. I mean, I'd love to come in and go, wow, look what Macon County has. Not, wow, look what Macon County had. They had a lot of gravel and dirt. That's what I'm saying. We want it back the way it was. We want the TLC from you guys on it. And like I said, I mean, I would love to hear from you, go, hey, Dave, you know what? October is going to get, we're going to have it clean for you by November 3rd. Don't worry about it. That's the only thing I worry about. It's more the thing is saying, hey, it's going to look good.
Mr. Lynn, are you coordinating? You the chief? of
Yes,
this thing?
yes,
All
I
right.
Yeah, I'm running it.
You'll give me your contact
Okay.
information.
No problem.
You and I can talk, try to work out details, you can explain the needs, and I'll get the right people to do what we need.
I would love for you to actually come out there with me one day and show you what I'm talking about.
And that contractor built it out there, was the community garden, you know, his name
Yeah.
knows, he's right there beside him. And they've been very supportive with us, they've helped us with some gravel. They didn't know that, we sent them a bill, but they helped and supported, I mean, they.
Well, Tate's Landscape said they'll cover any bill at all that we have to do, any gravel.
Yeah, they've been very.
I didn't hear him say that.
Very supportive.
But I mean, more than thing like I said, like he's saying, I mean, the garden out there, because I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, the whole area, it was dedicated years ago, and it's been out in service now for 2 years to the Walmart. But like I said, we're excited to have it back open, and we want it now. I mean, like I said, this year I got a little lazier because it's been closed down, and so I don't do triathlons like I used to. And this right here, November 3rd, is the half marathon.
Well, we're not about trying to stand in the way of our area.
Okay.
And bring in people that think well of our area.
Yeah.
So your goals align with our goals. Let's just work out on the
Okay.
details and see what we can do.
Gentlemen, why don't we do this?
We can
So we can talk after the conversation.
Yeah.
But, we're supportive of what David's doing. I think you understand that. We communicate back to
Well,
him.
thank you guys
We're
for
that.
that.
The problem is, we don't have any jurisdiction.
See, I was under the impression that it was. Like,
No, no.
I've had so many different, from you guys and their guys and this guys, Yeah, I heard
It's
this or
somewhere
that.
between the state and the contractor.
Well, this is the head of the stream right here.
This
Yeah,
is-
so you got to block off now.
You've reached your destination.
We got,
good.
hey, we have your people in touch with their people, okay?
Good. Saw Facebook shoot about you tonight.
So what I'm saying is, if you guys will exchange phone numbers and
We'll take it
work
from
this
there.
thing out, I
So,
think we can.
Yeah. So,
move
Because
on.
you knew this, we're here.
Yeah.
That is my question, what we can do to make it safe temporarily for that day.
yeah, that'd be perfect. I mean,
And I think we'll commit to extra work,
Absolutely.
whatever we need to do there. So.
That's
The problem Dave's got, that he communicated to us, he's got a deadline, he's got to tell people, if he's not gonna have it there, just make that call pretty quick, because it's.
Yeah.
We don't want to do
October's-
that. We don't want you to have to do that.
I'll say, yeah.
You don't want to do that. We-
No, because like I said, yeah. Like I said, I mean, it's the first for Macon County. There's never been a half marathon here, and it's a beautiful area.
I like to think that we won't have to
Okay, I
So
can.
while you're at it, if you can just get David Lynn's personal story, he can motivate you too.
I'll tell you
That would be worth listening
Very
to.
good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Thank you,
the
Dave.
support. Thank you, guys.
So just thank me on Facebook.
Say nice things about us. Now, see?
You got your own personal fan page
Just
now.
hit like, click like.
It's
All right.
so rare.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. That was all the public comment that we had. Did anyone else intend to sign up?
We're not finished, man. I mean, we still got a lot.
Thank you, guys. Jim?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
very much, Mr. Ash. Thank you, sir.
I see.
Gentlemen, any, item number 7 is adjustments to the agenda. Are there any items that you would need moved or deleted or anything to add to the agenda? Actually, for once, I don't have anything.
Mr. Chairman, on item 10G, refinancing resolution.
Yeah.
We need to do some more work with that. We'll postpone that for your next meeting.
Yeah.
I think that will give us what we need to do.
Till the 24th.
Yeah. And we're gonna actually leave, the chairman has information, we're gonna postpone the ambulance, we're still gonna leave that in.
No, we need to go ahead and reject the ambulance bids, and so.
But will we do that under 10C when we come to that?
Yes,
We'll just leave it on the
under
agenda.
10C, yeah. We need to have you all officially reject them, so we can go ahead and get them
I've got
back
the
in
resolution.
and have those ready on the 24th as well,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Any other changes or additions to the agenda?
On the closed session, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Manager, was you gonna have a closed session to report on some, about some possible acquisitions that we had given you?
I do have some information I need to share with the board. There won't be any action taken, but there need to, some property acquisition, so.
So we will have a closed session.
I don't foresee, and I couldn't promise you, but I don't foresee any action, but probably a closed session to discuss property acquisition.
And attorney-client privilege,
I don't have any, but y'all may.
all right, we will have a motion second by Tate to approve the agenda as amended. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. We have, under reports and presentations, we have Gene Robinson with Webster Enterprises, Executive Director. So, Gene, welcome.
Thank you. I want to thank you for allowing me to come back and talk with you again.
Glad you're here.
It's been a little over a year and a half.
Yeah. I had just come over a year and a half.
Well, basically why I'm here is to thank you for the funding that you agreed to and approved at that time, and to bring you from the Board of Trustees for Webster Enterprises and from all the staff and all the people who work there. It was greatly appreciated and was well used. The other purpose being here is to show you what we did do with that money. And, well, mostly the results of what we did. I have a very quick report that is very simple, but I'll go through it. And I will be brief. This one's in very long. This is something you certainly are welcome to keep or toss. We, with your help, with that $20,000, $10,000 for each year, for the past 2 years, we were able to accomplish a great deal in terms of the revitalization program that Webster entered into a couple of years ago. And the first page of that report shows the 3 stages of that revitalization program. We're now heading into the 3rd stage. And I won't read everything that's there. You're looking right at it. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer this. If you go to the next page, that page lists all the grant money that we were able to receive from a number of different sources that are listed there. We received and expended all of that money with the exception of $64,000 from Golden Gate. So we still have grant money of that amount that will go towards the 2nd phase of our revitalization effort, which is basically to bring the manufacturing capacity up to par. If you go to the next page, I'll quickly flip over that because that's just items that we have bought that will allow us to be a great deal more efficient with a manufacturing operation. And if you remember, we earn approximately 95–96% of our operating costs from our manufacturing. There's not too many places that provide the kind of training that we do can boast that. If you go to the next page, that shows the payroll for Webster Enterprises starting in 2006-2007, all the way up to what we have projected for this year, which will be a little over $700,000, which is an increase from $456,000. Tremendous increase. If you go to the next page, you see the highlighted items there. It goes back to August of 2010, which is the month and the day that we started our revitalization process. We had 35 people there at that time. And I'll jump ahead to July of 2012. We're up to 54 people, so we've increased significantly. Now, I want to point out that that's in light of the fact that we haven't, at that time, we haven't actually finished our 2nd stage of the revitalization effort. We didn't expect to grow that much. We've exceeded our expectations a great deal. And also, I want to say that now we're in a position where we're going to jump very quickly a great deal more in terms of products that we produce, in terms of people that we serve, in terms of individuals that come to us for training and are placed on competitive employment. I think last month we've placed 3 people in competitive employment. We expect that to grow very rapidly as well. I won't go into that if there's any questions, specific questions. Excuse me, that you have, I'll certainly answer those. The next page is just some of the customers that we provide work to. Our primary customer is Cook, which is an international company out of Bloomington, Indiana. And we were doing about $1 million worth of business intermediate rice in 2010. And this year, it's going to exceed $2 million. Even though our budget didn't show that, our budget is a very conservative budget. We just today received a request from our sister facility over in Waynesboro, Haywood Vocational Opportunities, to increase our work for them. They have asked us to do more of the disposable, custom-made surgical drapes that they do. And if you look on that page, that sales for 2009-2010, was $992,591, and then 2000, jump on over to 2011-2012, it was up to 1.255 million, and the amount for we did for Haywood Vocational Opportunities in 2009-2010 was almost $12,000, and this past year, it has moved up to almost $234,000. We expect that to go right on up to $1 million. But now we have the capabilities to do the work that they have to offer us because of the money that was donated to us or funded to us. Then the next page is just our budget for this year. Again, I'd like to say that it is a very conservative budget. And then the last page that you look at is leading us into the third thing I wanted to discuss. And this is figures from the Social Security Supplemental Security record. And if you look at that, what's happening in our payment to individuals. In 1974, 65% of the payments, no, I'm sorry, 60%, a little over 60% of the payments were going out to people 65 and older. If you shoot all the way across to 2011, that's dropped to 25% going to people 65 and older. Under 18 in 1974, it was only 1.8%, and now it's up to 15.7%. But the major difference is that middle one, work age people, 18 to 64, it was 37.6, and it's now jumped to 58. The problem is gaining on us. I want to show you something else that I think if I can just hand this to come forward. In the U.S., in the total country today, and these are figures again from government records. I'm going to say I'm not political. I'm a real independent. So these reflect what's happening, what I think find the best of our ability to do. There's 10,734,000 people receiving disability insurance, and that figure is growing rapidly. That's $10,298,000,000 just for that one government payment. And for SSI payments, there's 8,162,000 receiving SSI payments with a rate of $4,507,000,000. Like I say, the problem is growing on us. It's growing very fast. We have over 5,000 people in Jackson, Macon, Queen County that's receiving unemployment insurance. Yet I've got a company, a large company in Jackson County that can't find people to go to work for. Macon, Queen County, there's 10,000 people that work in age with a disability. So, if you notice, I haven't come to ask for money this time. Probably at some point in time, I will be back to answer. So we're going to have to expand our facility. We're going to have to grow within the next couple of years our physical plant in order to be able to handle the job that's facing us. And I think that we're on the right track. And within that period of time, right now we have space. But within 2 years, we're going to be absolutely out of space, and we're not going to have any more room to bring more people in. One thing I forgot to share with you in the previous information was that we are right now not getting any money from mental health to provide services to the PD population. Part of that is a problem that Webster had in the past. They let the money go. And now it's not coming back. We can't get it. No matter how good a job we do, they're just saying there's no money there. So we're going to have to earn the money in order to provide that service. And this is for people who are not capable of going out and working hard, a job in the community, but still need to work and still can be productive. We've had people in that category that could work at standard industrial production rates, but they can't go out in the community. This is a lot of these people that we're talking about, a lot of the the 10,000 people we need for kind of services. Just one more thing I'd like to say. Well, let me throw it open for questions. Is there any questions for that?
Just to first off, Mr. Robertson, maybe some of the board that don't know, Mr. Robertson was basically brought out, not only from the bullpen, but he was in retirement. To come back to legislative practice, along with some other folks in this room, that brought it back to life. That we know for sure. There's no argument about that, and we appreciate it. And I've been over, and I think most of us have been over. Kevin's mama, of course, worked there back in the day.
Used to have an association.
So we appreciate, it seems like you've done a marvelous job with your staff, Mr. Robertson, and we're glad you feel that. Because we know what shape it was in when you first came to us. I remember that.
Well, we have a really good staff.
Yeah. But what I do want to know is, you have 19 people that are now July of 12, compared to August of 10. You've increased 19 people. Of those 19 people, where do they come from? What county?
I can share with you the numbers that from Macon County. In the past year, we've served 25 people from Macon County. We currently have 5 people in training from Macon County. Transit's still bringing those 9 people. We also have 2 people that are employed as workers. They're not in training. They may have been in training, and then they got good enough that we just hired them. So they're employees. They'll be there to be there. Again, we need more people. And at this current time, we have space to serve more people. And we want more people from Macon County. We would do anything that we can do, and would work with any agency that could make referrals. We have a very good local rehab counselor that serves this area. Her name is Carol Resi. She's out of working out of the civil office, but she serves this area, and she does make referrals to us. But she gets the referrals. We don't get the referrals. So if the Department of Social Services could dig a little deeper and make those referrals to her, or make them directly to us, we care of it. But we certainly would like to see the allegiance. We are working with the Jackson County Transit to develop their program so that we will be able to pick up people in the fringe areas. And if they can get to pickup point, then we could, transits can work together. We're working with Swain County on that, and certainly want to work with Macon County. There is some money through the Department of Transportation for transportation for that purpose. And we're working with the Jackson County Transit to get that money. Hopefully next year we can have that.
Mr. Robinson said this Mark Cure and this economy just as well. I do have a question on what you said you needed more people in it, employees.
Yeah, we have
People working.
yes. Right now we're advertising for 2 staff people. We're growing staff as well. But what I was referring to, we need more clients.
Clients.
Yeah. We need more people.
And there's stipulations that come with these clients.
Yes. That's why we're there. But we are fortunate in the fact that our major business is surgical bread cheese. And that business is growing and is projected to grow because of healthcare. So we're very fortunate in that respect. And something else I didn't mention, about 6 months ago, we started a new effort. Because of Hometex, which is a large sewing plant that came out of Alabama, that's called the old Chasm plant, huge plant in Southern. We have set up a sewing training operation. They need 100 people to do that. So we're now with the help of a number of different organizations, including Goodwill Industries. We've gotten money, we bought sewing machines, we've renovated the building. And we've got our sister program now in Andrews, which is big into so and has been for the last 30 years. They're feeding work into us, and those take more. I'm going out there tomorrow to try to pick up some work from them. Customers that are coming back from overseas now. They are so busy they can't do it. And so they're shifting to us. We're in the process of right now of renovating another 1,500 square feet addition to that. And we're asking for money from Sisters of Mercy and from Evergreen Foundation for that process. We've got almost half of it done. We did on our own. But that'll give us a 3,000 square foot facility that we dedicated just to solar. This area of solar was really big 20 years ago.
Ron, will you introduce the folks you brought with you that work so hard every day to keep that place going?
I will very gladly do that. On my right over here is Kathleen Redmond, and she is our director of our rehab facility. She is the one who takes care of those individuals and comes in and sees if they get the proper training. And she has a staff working under her. And next to her is Marcella Steller. Marcella's been with Webster Enterprises for 17 years. She's our director of administration, and she does a lot of it. Next to her is David Redmond, and he is a volunteer, but he is doing our public relations, which is something that we have missed very well.
Glad you're here. Thank you for what you
Mr. Robinson, I just like, because I was here when we made that decision to invest that money, I'd just like to congratulate you as well as say thanks on a remarkable turnaround. The only question I have is when you said 54, is that 54 clients and Macon County has 25 of those? Was that the word I heard, or if I got those numbers wrong?
The 54, I have to refer back.
We got 25 clients from Macon County out of how many, or if I got it wrong?
We have currently 54 clients, 25 clients over the past year from Macon.
Okay, so they're not all currently there, but they have
Right.
cycled through.
They've trained there.
Well, just, the only thing I wanted to say, and I mean this in the most positive way possible, sometimes when you sit up here, you catch a lot of flack when you spend money. Because sometimes people don't share your vision of what that money can do. And I just wanted, for my own personal self, to thank you for doing such a great job with the investment that we made, the small investment, but the investment that we made in your program. Thank you for that, and thank you for making it worthwhile.
and those job placements that you did. And that's the object here. That's what people, is to train these folks and get them where they can go out and work in the new. And for those folks that you did, those 5 or whatever, if you count it out, if they have a 20-year life span of work, how many thousands and thousands of dollars that would be to save the taxpayer? So it's a great investment. So,
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry for not standing. I tripped over my own foot and wearing a cast at the moment.
That's okay. We can hear you.
But if you would like to see what all of those figures that Jane gave you means in human terms, look in the front of your book. There's a Macon County resident there, and look at the smile on his face. Other than the fact that I have a running battle with him every football season because my sons went to Smoky Mountain. He's a fine young man.
well, we can.
And we will try to not hold that against you if we possibly can.
Rescue your son.
Keep your paper cookie cutters.
While you're looking at that, I do still want to remind you, we're here to thank you. And that $20,000 was very significant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feel like it's money well spent.
And for these fellas, it's not been over, the colleagues, it's not been over one day. Maybe we can set up a little time when you come, or Mr. Roberts, and I think they'd be thoroughly impressed. We appreciate what you do.
Actually, see what.
That's right.
One last thing before I leave, I told you I'm a little bit about it, not good. Sometimes I vote for a person because, I never vote because they're important. You have a former commissioner, now state senator, that has been an absolute hero to programs here in the West. And that's Jim Davis. He has done a marvelous job. He's visited every program in our Monty area, which is Boone West. He's taken time. I know he didn't have it. He's a very busy person. And he's gone to each one of those programs. He's talked with us. He's met with us after hours. And he has taken our issues to our golf course. And
He really wished he wouldn't have to cut the money, though. After all that travel, he wished he had to cut the money.
well,
You know, that would have been great.
he did work for us on a lot of issues.
But at the end of the day, they cut the fund.
Yeah, but I don't think it was him that cut it.
He made his
He got some of it back. He really did get some of it back. About, how much? $20 million? Yeah. And it was his effort. We got it back.
We appreciate
I am very
That
grateful.
looked good.
Appreciate that. Gene, thank you very much. Appreciate what you do, and we're glad we were able to make an investment in that. Under new business, or old business, I don't make any.
Good to see you.
We don't have any old business, new business, gentlemen. We've been meeting for about an hour and a half. Why don't we stand in recess for about 10 minutes, and then we'll take up our new business. So we'll recess for a short break.
I got Neil lined up today. Neil went in with his rifle.
We'll call us back into order. Hope everybody had a good break. First of all, we'll recognize the county manager. Recommendation award for Swiss Colony water system improvement. Jack.
Chairman, you may recall that county started the project, we call the Highway 28 River Bend Water Project a few years ago, and we were able to get 100% grant funding for that. Before the project was completed, we noticed an additional award from the state, and always grant money, to extend water lines going into the Swiss Colony area, subdivision area there along the 28 River Bend. And we were expecting to try to get this project finished up last year, because the holdup was getting the easements and rights of way through that project. The town was responsible for doing that. It took a while to get those. They finally got those this past last spring. And we also were able to get some additional money, some additional grant money. And so went out to bid, and you have a copy of your bid tab in your agenda packet to see we had 5 bidders. And the low bid was Macon and Sons Incorporated. They are a property license and qualified to perform the work. They had a bid of $682,535.
They're from Jackson County.
They're in Whittier. I think they're in Jackson County side. Whittier is right there on the Swain Jackson area. So they have a recommendation from the project manager, Mike Dowd from McGill, to recommend award of the contract to Buchanan and Sons for $682,535. The question we had was, is there enough money in the budget to cover that? And we were about $186,000 over budget based on the lowest bid. But we were able to get another $190,000, $125 from public water supply people to cover that. So we actually ended up with just a little bit more money than what we need to do the project. And we think probably, since it's a unit price basis, we should stay well within the money allocated for that. So the recommendation from the engineer is to award the contract to Buchanan and Sons. We did check them out, and there's no reason to disqualify them from being a responsible bidder. So under state law, in order to award contracts, we must award those to the lowest responsible bidder, and based on the engineer's information and recommendation, that would be
Is that contingent upon DBE? I mean, I saw that.
Yeah, they still have to.
They have not done that yet.
No, and they'll do that matter of record, most of them will, make an effort to solicit disadvantaged business enterprises, weapon and arms.
Three paragraphs, we say that that's what
Yeah, they will have to comply with that.
Mr. Manager, I had trouble finding the contingency budget. I found it, but then I can't read it. You enlighten me just a touch on that?
Yeah. Contingency budget is $34,127.
Well, considering what contingencies we've had, you know, for a $682,000 project and have that smaller contingency, does that give you any heartburn?
I don't think so. I think
Because knowing who the players are here, not
But that's
that McGill would ever come back with one, but.
that's a 5%.
Yeah, that's 5%, but I think based on, this is a pretty simple project. This is basically, it's not very complicated at all. Should move on pretty quickly. I don't see any reason why we couldn't get through this project with the contingency of 5%.
So you're comfortable with that?
I'm pretty comfortable.
Now,
I might
is
have
this-
more, but 5% I think is pretty for this size project.
And I've not looked at the maps, and I'm sorry, but how are we gonna handle this when it goes to Nob Hill Road? This goes across Swiss Colony, then Nob Hill Road is on another, is he gonna tie into that?
Is that where the Hickory Knoll is?
That's right.
Okay.
Yes, I know, yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's gonna cut through Swiss Colony, right through, between lots, to go over to Hickory Knob and Nob Hill area, all
You live
that.
out
And then
You live
tie
out
in
there?
there
Yes.
at the Arthur Drake Road.
That's what I was leading at to get to Arthur Drake Road, is this,
Ties into that too. And upgrades some of that, most of that.
is it upgraded down to on the road, on the entrance road from 28? Or from
No, I
River
think
Road?
it's just in the residential section, it doesn't go all the way out to 28.
River. That's what we're doing.
I agree with Jack. I think the low bid, I was just surprised at the difference in the bids. There was a huge, matter of fact, the high bid is 1.2 million, and the low bid is
You still
680,000.
sent me from who got work and who ain't.
I understand, that's a big difference in bids. We'll take the low one.
From that lowest bidder up to the next right there,
Yeah, it is, a big difference. Well, the chair would entertain a motion to approve this low bid of 682, 535 to Buchanan and Sons Incorporated, having been vetted by McGill and our county manager.
Second one, I'll say.
So moved. I'll second. We have a motion and a second to award the low bid. Any discussion?
Just one more question, Mr. Manager. I mean, I want to support the project because these folks that live up there need it. It's a needy thing and it'll help a lot of folks. The town will get all the money off of it. We're glad, and that's fine. Did the vetting process, have you or the county attorney look how the vetting process that was done by McGill, what process they used? And how many people did they check out that they had worked for? Do we know that answer?
Yeah, I did. I talked to them, and they did mention that. And I talked to one of the companies, one of the counties or municipalities that did some work in. They had a few issues with them, but it was a bigger, more complicated job. They gave me some other experiences they've had with other jobs, and they had some good compliments on them. So there was not anything enough in there. There was a few people who were disgruntled about some of the work that they had done because of being late and so forth. But there was nothing in there that would raise to the level of disqualifying them from being responsible.
So we can tell these folks sitting here, and we can tell those other folks that when their property is disturbed, that it be put back in a manner in a reasonable amount of time that we've struggled with this latest contractor. So you feel satisfied we can do that?
Well, the only guarantee we got is we would hold their money until they make it the way it should be. And so,
That usually works.
and we're doing that with a particular contractor right now, so, yeah, we'll not make final payment on anything until all of our residents have been satisfied that their property has been put back in at least the same condition it was in.
The reason it's important here, these are people's homes. These are not, I mean, a business you can sort of, you know, you might be able to.
And this is not a thoroughfare, this is going through people's yards.
That's going through people's yards and, so they'll be calling somebody.
They'll be calling me and I'll be calling everybody out there, but we'll sell this should not take that long to finish this project. It's actually taking longer to get the necessary rights of way than the project should take.
Do we have all the?
We do have all those been certified by the town attorney.
Any other discussion?
I'm setting the over under on change orders at 3.
Okay, what?
I'm setting the over under on change orders at 3.
You know what, I shouldn't say this, I guess I felt better if we just voted without Gil recommending.
Gil is a designer and an engineer of record for the job.
I thought it was honest about it. That's okay. Well, I think they'll pay a little bit closer
Well,
attention to.
I was saying that
I think they are.
we've expressed some discontent with some other projects, and so I think they've heard that. I would think we watch this a little closer.
I think the biggest thing that's coming out really here, this is not going through, this is nothing like we've done, and this is the first time since I've been on this, when you got through people's yards, you got through that, so. I mean, it's an everyday cleanup job, it ain't gonna come back in 3 months and clean it up. They need to understand that. So I need to convey that to them.
We'll go through all that during the pre-construction meeting, and then we'll probably have, just because it is primarily a residential area, instead of having once a month on-site meetings, we'll probably go at least every 2 weeks.
That's a very good idea.
How long was the period of time before you do it?
I think it's 6 to 6 months.
It's a tough, I mean, and that does make it tough for them to work. I mean, I don't know where it's going, but now I need to realize that where it is.
They have plenty of time to check it out, and make sure they do whatever they
Yes.
can do, they're and we'll expect them to, the county attorneys to look at this, to make sure that they will follow the letter of the law and to make the bid specifications.
That always seems to be.
Any other discussion?
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna vote for this right here, just so the people have to walk.
They need a good system.
Proceed.
Call the question.
All right, all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Manager. Also, Jack has 10B, we have a change order on the Iowa Valley Elementary Project. That's the 10B in your.
Back in the spring, we were trying to get water in the building in order to test out the HVAC and the sprinkler system. And they really wanted to test those pipes out before they put down rock ceiling and other floor coverings and so forth, and walls, sheetrock in a lot of places in order to get water in there. They had to do some extra work well, and they told us at the time it would be about $8,000. And as you see from your letter of July 11th, the contractors decided that it's really going to be more closer to $18,000. And I'll have to give credit to our architect, Mike Watson. He held firm on that and said that we quoted $8,000 and $8,000 is what you need to get for that. And so they've asked for a change order for $8,000. And when you look at it in terms of projects, as we were talking, on an $11 million project, change order total no more than, including this one, $24,000. That's pretty doggone close. That's really good.
Motion to approve, because without this, without H&M help, was even above and beyond to do this, because of another subcontractor fee, we would have had school open, so I make the motion to approve that. Second.
The motion second, and I would agree with that. I think that's reasonable. I think we should do it. Any other-
Can I just ask one question, has nothing to do with the $8,000? How much contingency do we have?
have to check and see.
I'd be really interested.
Glory knows, right?
And Mr. Bill knows what I'm about to say. I just hope we have enough to cover the cost of the playground.
We have, I'm not sure what
Because
the
I don't want the one from
playground
Cali
cost is gonna be, but we will have some contingency money left in there.
Enough to buy the things.
Let me take a look to see before I give you the final.
It don't have to be a high impact zone. It's just good enough that I don't have to move the one to Cali.
We've been cautious, we've been very, very stingy with holding on to contingency.
I'm
money.
just curious because I'm seeing things in Cali go away. The only thing I wanted to see in Cali go away was the daggone trailer, and they're still there. Everything else seems to be walking out the door, so I'd like to hang on to the playground.
And the playground, just to give you some more background information, the playground area is going to have to be reseeded, and it's going to have to establish a good playground area out there before they actually get back and put the playground equipment in, so probably.
By that time, we'll have it well.
It's probably going to be it's probably going to be early spring before we can actually install the playground
We'll be
equipment.
fixed, man. That's good. Thanks.
Make a motion, all in favor of the motion, signify. Saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously. Next thing is we've had the board approved new ambulances in the budget for this year. We're in the process of collecting those bids, and Jim will address that, or David. David.
Let me give you some background information on that.
David, recognize you.
David's worked with us closely, so is the county attorney, that we had put the project out, the ambulances up for bids, and we had, you see your information, we had bids from, was it four, I believe, four bidders. And ordinarily we would be asking to approve low bidder tonight. We're asking to reject these bids. We would have to calculate through. When the bids were first put out, they were put out, and the day after the bids were put out, these were advertised online. And three of the bids, let me go back. The day after the bids were put out, it was decided that we need to go ahead and add the chair. Tell them about this chair, what the chair is for.
Okay. On our ambulances, we have what's called a stair chair. It's a compact wheelchair that would fold up, fit in one of the compartments. The newer styles that we have now have runners on the back. I don't know if you're familiar with a refrigerator dolly that has a little runner, this braking system. It makes it easier to bring people up and down a flight of stairs rather than carry them on a stretcher. The braking system is good ergonomically for the crew's backs, doesn't hurt them carrying heavy loads.
So you added that?
The original bid package had that in it. When it went out to bid, that particular item was left out of the bid package for whatever reason, buying stuff. So the next day, we added it as an addendum to that bid package on the website.
Who sent the bid package, is that?
Who sent them out? They were posted on our website for the World Wide Web to see. We didn't send them specifically to any contractors.
What happened then is that when bids came in and they were open, three of the bidders included the chair, included the addendum in their bids. The fourth bidder did not include the chair, but the fourth bidder that did not include the chair was much, much lower than the other three bidders. Even if you had the cost of the chair in, it'd probably still be lower than that. The problem was that since there's some confusion about whether that was a qualified bid or not, since it didn't include the addendum, there's no way we can verify that by having it advertised on the web without, confirmation of who was going to bid. We didn't really know who was going to bid on it because the specifications and all were on the computer to be accessed that way. And so we didn't know who the bidders were actually going to be until the bids came in. And we had a discussion with the county attorney about this, and since there could be some confusion or discrepancy about whether or not the low bid was a qualifying bid, even though they didn't include the chair, we felt like the safest thing to do would would be to go ahead and rebid the ambulances with the chair. And a minimum time for that, I think, Mr. Attorney, is a week. And so we're prepared to go ahead and rebid those and have them ready, provided y'all reject these current bids, have them ready for board action on the 24th.
David, of the 4 bidders, do we have any of those in service now? Of the four people that bid on these bids, did any of them do any previous things, any of our ambulances that we have in line there?
Actually, the highest bidder is who built most of the fleet that we have now. That's Northwestern Emergency Vehicles.
Well, maybe I can see this, they'll get the part right.
Yeah, they're actually Jefferson.
If I might add, there was also a question about, given the way the specs went out originally, whether or not there would be proper notice and whether there's legal authority to supplement those with an addendum. So the problem could have been either way, for whether you got it in the bid or whether you didn't get it in the bid. And there's just not a real fair way to resolve it, short of just simply saying, let's try again.
So you feel comfortable, that's your recommendation?
I think there was potential for confusion and the need for fairness in the process.
Yeah, that's fine with me. A week's not going to make any difference.
So you can't just pick it up like you do a car off the lot, it takes a while to build these. And if the bids are approved by the 24th, it's still going to be 90 days.
90 days.
Before we actually will get the vehicles in-house.
Jim, Mr. Tate probably make the motion on that.
Yeah, I'm great with it. Let me just say that I guess the pro of it is there's a good chance the second bid is not coming lower since they're obviously not access to this. David, are there any other, I mean, that's obviously not an item that these manufacturers would probably make, a stair chair. Are there items like that?
That item, the stair chair and the stretcher, that's in that bid package are 2 items that they buy aftermarket and supply with the truck.
Is that just their priors present? Obviously, priors present, just want to know, just want to transfer?
Actually, right now, we don't have any spares. If one was damaged or lost or whatever happens to it, we don't have anything to replace it with. And I talked to Jack about this. To go buy one off the shelf, they're $3,500 to $4,000. It's a vital piece of equipment. So by buying them on the trucks as we are, as we surplus the trucks that these 2 trucks are going to replace, we'll remove the old equipment, but keep those as spares as backup.
So I guess that's where I'm getting at, it's better to just add it on this bid, it's better if you guys buy it.
We actually get a better price because the ambulance companies can get a better price than I can.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion.
I compared a resolution to,
Jim, I think your motion needs to state that we approve the resolution rejecting all bids and proposals.
That's right.
Okay. Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just for clarification purposes, that motion we included that we will continue with the rebidding process as soon as we get it published.
Is that in here?
it's not in there, but I think it's understood that is the purpose of doing this and to get it reviewed. Make it clear.
Okay, let's make it part of the motion. Are you okay with that?
So, we're going to say that now?
Just authorize us to go ahead and after you reject the bids by this resolution, authorize us to go ahead and rebid the project. Hopefully have to get opening on the 20th and opening action on the 4th.
You got that, Mike? You accept that second? All right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion to approve the resolution rejecting all bids and proposals, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. That motion passes. Mr. Decker, there's my copy signed. Thank you, David. We have Sheriff Hollins here with us, and this is for consideration of Governor's Highway Safety Program grant, and I think all of you have that under tab 10D, as well as I think you received I do need to send a copy of this, otherwise it gets, Sheriff Hall. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I apologize, I had to leave earlier and I wasn't here for another part of the meeting, and that was about the comments that were made about the red light at the middle school. And I just publicly want to tell you, I'm really disappointed that the DOT didn't see fit and just make a statement that the reason there's not been crashes, deaths there is because my officers have been stuck there during the heavy times directing traffic. And I'm really concerned about that because we've had multiple times that the officers have literally almost been run over. And not only from my officers telling me that, but the general public calling me and thanking me for them being there. So I think they deserve a big thank you. And if there's any way we can go above their heads somehow to look into
We did talk to the officers there. We spent about an hour or two one morning with the traffic was going coming from the middle school and the intermediate school. And the officers were seemed to think that the traffic light was not possible, that right-hand turning lane would greatly improve the safety. We talked about that possibility before out there with them. They thought that would be a big help.
It would definitely be a help, but I don't think they would be able to pull out at that point. But I don't know. I'm not an expert at traffic, but I'm disappointed. Back to what I'm supposed to talk about, and I apologize. Governor's Highway Safety. Basically, this is a grant to allow us to do enforce our traffic situation and do some prevention and try to create a safer environment for the general public. This is something we've actually been a part of doing. Just as any other small agency does, you wear a lot of hats, so we've had people that have actually been doing this. This would allow us and provide the funding to allow us to do it, have a single individual take the bull by the horns and run with it and organize it and keep things going. I know you all have received this package, but I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit of it to you. Of course, the Sheriff's Office has received many awards for their efforts in traffic, but we've had 117 motor vehicle check-in stations, and we've issued numerous citations and warnings. I repeat, warnings. Of course, you all know 441 South and 28 North, 28 South, how busy that is. 22,000 vehicles per day travel on 64 and 28. We've got 677 miles of primary and secondary roads, 517 square mile county with 24 road deputies. Of course, I don't even have to explain the geographical area. You all know that it's a mountainous area. Take you over an hour to go from one end of the county to the other. If you're in Highlands trying to get to Nantahala. Some of the things that we've done is we've gotten all of our officers certified, completed standard field sobriety training. 19 officers have been DCI certified, 24 have completed the intox, and 21 deputies have been radar certified. I know a lot of people look at sheriff's deputies running radar and working traffic as a big no-no. I can remember when I first was elected sheriff, and somebody made the comment that as long as I'm commissioner, deputies will not have radar. The unfortunate thing is, as a sheriff, I have to use every available tool at my resources to make the public safe. And I feel like that even though it might not be a primary duty of the sheriff's office, we have to step up. And running radar and slowing traffic down and issuing citations and issuing warnings is a way to be able to encourage people to slow down. Because I remember back in my younger days, it wasn't uncommon for somebody to pass you because they knew you didn't have radar and you couldn't pull them over for speeding and they weren't going to get a ticket. Now when people see a deputy sheriff, they hit the brakes just like we do. I mean, even cops hit the brakes when you're driving down the road because you're afraid you're going to get a ticket. That's just common practice. Do you have a question?
No, I'm holding on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Another thing, in the past 3 years, working traffic, we've made 329 DWI arrests. That's an amazing number. If we weren't working traffic, typically we wouldn't have made those DWI arrests. And you can imagine who's at risk for that. We rank 22 out of 100, number 22 out of 100 counties in fatalities. In North Carolina, 22 out of 100. Since 2009, we've seen an increase. In 2009, we had one fatality, and then in 2010 we had 6 fatalities, and then we've had 7 in 2011, and I believe that number is going to be higher in 2012 as well. I can't remember the exact number. The state hasn't released those numbers, but it's pretty well up there. This grant, what this grant is, to the meat of it, is money that we're asking for and asking for the support of. The first year, as you can see by your handout that you have and the media has as well, the corrected and right version. It's a federal grant that's handed down to the state, to the North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program. And the first year, they're going to be paying for the equipment, the patrol car, all the equipment that is going to be needed, and the salary for that officer. They're going to pay 85% of that. So as you can see, it'll be $103,000. Will be the federal side that they'll pay, and we will pay $18,000. So basically, 15 cents on the dollar. The second year, you won't have to have the equipment. You won't have to purchase the equipment because we will already have the equipment. So as you can see, they will pay 43, which is 70%, and then our rate is still 18%, of course. And then, of course, on the fourth year, we have to agree to provide the money for that position for at least 1 year. Then at the end of that term, the end of that 4-year term, if we decide or you all decide that the money's not there or there's not a need for it, then we'll go back and look at that and see if
The equipment is ours.
the equipment is ours from the get-go, from day one. I think that's about it. I know some of you might have questions, so I'll just be quiet and just allow you to.
I don't have any questions, but I would like to say that Sheriff, I applaud what you're doing here because you did what we asked you to do. A few years back, when the previous prior board made a commitment to Nantahala, we didn't have to run out of money when the economy had it. We looked at you and we said, any grants you can get, any way you can get another guy on the job that might give us the flexibility to improve the situation over there, do it. I want to thank you on behalf of them. I don't know whether this gives you the flexibility or not, but boy, if it does, let me thank you in advance for the people in Nantahala for your industriousness, if that's even a word, for going out and finding this. If for no other reason, I really think this is an important program, and I think we need to support it for no other reason. If it gives us the flexibility to improve life over in Nantahala as far as coverage, man, I'm for it.
Anytime we're able to add staffing to our patrol unit, which this would add, then if you've got this officer that's working today in the area of here close to town or not in Nantahala, then that leaves room for another officer to be able to go to Nantahala. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that because of this one position that I'm going to be able to give you this many hours in the Nantahala area, because I can't do that for any area.
And I wouldn't presume to try to micromanage your people to do that. But it all adds up, and it adds man hours, and any little bit that you help us over there is greatly appreciated. And I leave it to you to make the calls of where people. I'll never tell you where to put your people.
Okay.
But I appreciate your efforts.
And just to add to that, Sheriff, and you can speak to it, another real problem we're having, of course, is our depleting highway patrol force.
Absolutely.
We have one that's retired that's not been replaced. We're going to have, I suspect, 2 more in the next 6 months to be retiring. What I've heard, there's no aspiration to replace none of them. So what's going to happen is going to become more important than ever. Where does it go to? I mean, if it's out in the county, it's going to go to the sheriff's department. I mean, until that patrolman can get there, you got to secure the scene, do whatever. But you got to respond. Somebody got to respond.
Absolutely, and I'm honest with you when I say, as an elected official, as a person that gets in there by votes,
it's really tough to know that my officers are out there working radar, but that's a responsibility, whether somebody votes for me or against me, that I have to do. If Ronnie Beal calls me about somebody that's driving around, they're not gonna call Raleigh and ask for a trooper. They're gonna call the sheriff, and they're gonna demand, and they know that we're law enforcement, and they expect us to do something. And it also solves crimes. We have a lot of our B&Es, a lot of crimes that get solved because just because somebody calls in and reports that somebody's speeding doesn't give me probable cause and the right to pull your son over and discuss it with them. I have to have probable cause. And also that probable cause, sometimes you're able to, you find a brand new television that's sitting in the back seat of somebody's car at 3 o'clock in the morning. You can't just pull them over because it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You have to have probable cause. And that radar and those traffic control systems I say traffic control systems, the systems of working, the way the officers working and the training that they receive, they know how they can get that probable cause. And so there's a wide range of area that why it's a benefit, but when it all comes right down to it, it's a safety issue for the general public, and I have an obligation and to be able to try to do what I can to protect, just like you have an obligation to watch how money is spent, and I respect that, but I'm a little selfish when it comes to what my responsibilities are, and I hate to ask for more money, but I'm left with no other alternative. We've made a lot of cuts. Jack will over there. I know some of you understand that, if not all of you. We've made as many cuts. We're spending time at the middle school, which was only supposed to be for 1 school year. It took them 2 years to do a study just to come back and say no, and we're still there, and we'll have to remain there. Because when it comes right down to it, we pull out of there.
I think it's important to point out here that basically what you're getting is a full up round equipment wise, and an officer for 4 years for 40 cents on the dollar. You do the math.
Right.
And it's a. I'll point out one other thing that the sheriff's been trying to get grant money for this every year.
Sure.
We put
Thank
budget
you.
together, and he's been turned down year after year after year. This is the first year that he's able.
And to be honest, the reason that we kept getting turned down is because our stats were good. We were doing a great job. We were proactive, and you saw a lot of positive things happening out of that. And to be honest with you, the reason that we got it this year is our stats are poor, and it's not our fault. The economy's growing, and things are happening, and so our statistics have gone down. And so instead of being penalized for doing good, we're actually going to get something for not having good stats, which
Back
is
to the highway
facts.
patrol.
I say stats, not facts.
There is a short school in session now. A short school, highway patrol is when that person has had their basic law enforcement training. Right, Sheriff, and then they skip some steps in highway patrol school.
Correct.
So, and that short school is in session now. We are going to be asking, so if you know anybody who comes in for the visit and not a political thing, Kevin, you might want to mention to him that we would certainly like to have some of those troopers from the short school. Because if they don't, they'll end up, these large counties are having the same problem. As soon as the highway patrol, as soon as getting of age to retire, they're all leaving. And they're leaving early. They're taking the military time, they're buying the military time, and it's a real problem. We've had this discussion in Raleigh with the law enforcement committee, and it's a real problem. So, and out far out here, it's going to be a real problem. So, anybody you can talk to when they're just here visiting, we
Let that speaker to come out here, Ronnie. We're just happy to have you.
Something that if you don't mind, that I'd like to go on the record and say is that as most of you know, if not all of you, Jimmy Tate being one of the newer ones, may not remember this as a citizen. So I'll just remind a few years ago, well, ever since I've been sheriff for 10 years, every commissioner that's ever been on this board that asked me at one time or another, what would it take to get full-time service
full-time officer in Nantahala. And I've given them all the same answer. And it would take 4 people. That is 1 person added to my 4 shifts. 1 person per shift. And like we do like we do today, the shift that comes on at 6 o'clock this morning, those people, as soon as those officers check 1041, begin the tour of duty, one of them goes to Highlands. And the officer that was in Highlands all night comes down. And then if we had the 1 person per shift, then what we would do now is 1 person would go to Highlands and 1 person would go to Manhattan. They'd stay there all day long, and then tonight, when the new shift comes on, they'd be coming back. And so eventually, after 3 or 4 years, we ended up getting that. And how they worked it out, and we had a 4-year plan. It was going to be 1 position, 1 deputy this year, and then for the next 3 years, another position each year. And so at the end of 4 years, we'd actually have it. And all the commissioners agreed upon it. It was a great idea. Let's do it. We've talked about it enough. Well, then the economy went south, and so we had to look at budget cuts and commissioners, and rightfully so. I think that even that year I didn't even request a position because we were asked not to ask for any new positions. Made it known that I was concerned about that, but anyway. And so I still state today, and every time, and Coach, I've been witness to Coach Cuppers getting blessed out when we're in Nantahala. I get blessed out too, because we don't provide 24/7 a man over there. 24/7 service they have at any time of the day or night. We're there. We will go there, and there's a lot of calls that we are there, that quick response time, but there are calls that sometimes will take. 2011, we answered 13,440 911 calls through our emergency dispatch center. 240 of those 13,000 calls were in Nantahala. In 2012, we've answered so far as of today, September 11th, we've answered 9,088 calls, and we've answered 120 calls in Nantahala. And sometimes, looking at the records that I have, and I'd be happy to share them with you at any time you want to see them through our 911 dispatch center. There's times that we go 7 and 8 days without a call in Nantahala. Now, as a proactive sheriff, I will tell you that I don't want to just be there when calls are coming in, because that also prevents crime from happening if we're there. But you're looking at a lot of downtime for an officer that's over there. And so I have to have my officers where we're getting these other 13,400 calls or 13,200 calls. I have to, until I get more manpower. I don't have any choice, but we are available 24/7. And I
think in fairness, you've expanded the number of hours that there is at First.
Oh, absolutely.
Significantly in the last 4 years.
Every shift.
I want you to know that has not gone unnoticed over there, and it certainly hasn't gone unnoticed over there. And I understand what you're saying.
It is mandatory during every shift, day, night, weekends, holidays. During that shift, an officer from each shift is required to go to Nantahala. If they get busy and they need to come back over here because we're getting backed up on calls, right, they come back. But they are required, mandatory, that they go there by policy.
Fairness, you roughly 1.5%, 1.5% of your calls are in Nantahala. So if you're giving over 1.
And I agree with that 100%, but as the sheriff knows, if it's your call, it's the most important call.
Absolutely.
If it's your call, it's the only one that matters to you.
If all of our deputies,
he can't win in that
if all of our deputies were assigned to Highlands and it was going to take them 45 minutes to get to here because we had a situation here, we'd be mad.
Yeah. The point is, this is going to help that.
Absolutely.
And as I talked to you privately the other day, these kind of things are a good deal if you need the officer, if you need the equipment, if you need whatever it is that the grant's going to pay for. I never have liked these disappearing grants.
Correct.
Because I feel like it's it's an increase in local spending that you're putting off for 5 years. I've seen the school stuff. But when it's something that you need,
and all the commissioners agreed that we needed.
That's right.
Then what it is an item on sale.
Right.
It's the equivalent of a sale item. Not buying something that you don't need, which is a waste of money. So I had a question about that for Robbie. We had a long conversation about it, and you answered that.
And just make another clarification, Sheriff. On the 4th year, when it will become our responsibility at the county, if the budget can't handle it, we can just disregard that.
Absolutely.
And no penalty.
You have to pay for the 4th year.
And
After that, you can cancel it anytime.
I think you can do it after the 3rd year.
No,
Well,
I don't think so.
no, it has to be, we have to commit.
Wasn't that way with the fire department?
Yeah, we have to pay that. We have to pay that in the 4th year.
You have to pay the 4th year.
Absolutely.
But still, you've gotten an
That's the
officer
way it is
for
with the
40%.
fire department.
It's a 4-year program, but that's all you gotta do.
But that's it. And
Correct.
after that, you keep the car, you keep the equipment, and if you can't afford the
You'll be
officer.
wore out with it.
Now having,
That's true.
now having said that as well, is there's no guarantee that this person that we have in this position will remain there next year. We have to reapply for that same position. And the only way that we would have to pay back for that monies or any equipment that we receive is if we do not keep up our end of the bargain. Otherwise, if next year we apply for this grant to keep this grant going for the other 3 years, if they kill it, we still get to keep that patrol car, all the equipment that it took to hire that officer and put that officer. And two, this will be an officer that's currently working for the sheriff's office and allow us to hire another officer.
Do you have the freedom to choose the car and the equipment?
It has to be bidded out.
I mean, but you have to, you make the specs on what you want.
Oh, yeah.
You do that.
Yes, sir.
So we'll get a camera in this car too.
If we've got all the money, if they don't go skyrocket on the prices and all, we'll have the monies for it. Absolutely. In fact, all vehicles that we're gonna buy from this point on, we're doing under a budget where we are able to, that's part of the equipment that needs to go in that vehicle.
And here's the second trip, Mr. Chairman, if we reject this, the odds of us ever being in line for another is slim to none. Is that true, sir?
Absolutely, we've been turned down year after year. Ever since they asked me to keep applying for grants, we keep getting turned down.
What you
This
said
is
is
the first
exactly
time.
right. Look at it as a sale. It's a fire sale. It's a bargain.
There's a couple counties that are hoping we turn it down.
60%, not big.
Any-
Walk by 60%.
Any other questions for clarification or a motion to approve this local government resolution?
I said this, I just talked about, said about very much. The most impressive part is we talked about that day, sheriffs being able to give some more help to down here. And when you talk about the very low percentage of crime rate over there, that says something for people who don't start with it. Just be decent people over there. I know quite a few of them. I'm all for getting a little bit of help control over there. I understand what the budget's about, there's more problems with the money. Might be just, like we were talking about the deal there, about the way the numbers and how much it was on it. But anyway, speaking about this year, if, say for instance, you applied for it next year, and they wouldn't cover this money, are we responsible next year for carrying this out?
No, if they back out on us and don't continue the grant, we don't have to.
So
do
they
anything.
killed this whole thing, right? We still get to keep the car.
Correct.
Pay that up. Okay. All right, just a question. And two, I was going to drop that question up about the red light out there, because I feel like the answer that I got, and I said it was still in here, was because that your officer has been doing a good job to keep an accident compact. And I think if it hadn't been there, since this sound, if somebody had 4 or 5 wrecks, we would qualify, they'd already had it. But still, anyway, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And, what as much help as you can get from Halen.
Absolutely.
Serving and good people.
I just wish that they would pile in here when I'm asking for those positions and more money for that. Because every time we're over
If it
there.
makes you feel any better, I sure deliver that mail
every.
every time I'm over there, and they understand. They don't like it.
I beg them
They
to
don't
come.
like it, but they understand. They do. I tell them every time I'm over there, look, this is why you won't throw stones. Throw stones at the people that are writing checks. Don't throw stones at the sheriff because he's answering. He's asking. And they do throw stones at people writing checks instead of also throwing at you. So. But their heart's in the right place. They're just concerned about their lives and their families and their property, and you can't fault them for that. And I think we've done everything that we can do for it.
I was just going to say, in addition to you all, I guess, authorizing Robbie to accept this grant energy contract, I'll also need you to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $121,215, which is the total. with, of course, 103,033 being federal grant money, and then 18,182 from contingency. So you follow
The total,
me?
that,
You got
the
to
federal,
you
the
got
federal
to
shows,
appropriate the
I started to
total.
say.
no, the federal shows his income and.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's
Yes.
passing through us, yeah.
So I
You
need
can
to
show
amend-
the
I need
revenue
to amend
too.
the
Yeah, I know,
total.
I heard 121 in my heart.
We're
stopped.
pass through in front of that, we're not help.
Okay.
But anyway, talking about this, on these programs that we've got here, and as Mr. Bill mentioned about highway patrol is fading out, I just see a lot of this thing right here taking us up for something down the road where we're gonna start paying for something that the state has been in the past.
No, that's not
Is
happening.
that not the world?
No, right, they never,
But,
they never do this.
Yeah.
State never passes things on
It's
the
just
county.
legislation, I think this is happening all over the United States, but anyway.
You know, I don't know if the highway patrol would ever go out, but I kind of agree with you that they're putting it off onto us. But to be perfectly honest, I'm just thankful that they're providing funding for us, that in the meantime, that we're able to get some of the training and get some of the equipment, because if they went out tomorrow, if they did decide to do that, then no matter what, then there's, instead of the highway patrol and the sheriff being called, then I will be the only one called.
Well, it's kind of like having.
We're just getting bull by the horn before.
It's like having Commissioner Bill down there as our spokesperson in Raleigh. Okay, we're gonna have to pay state taxes, same as we're gonna have to pay county taxes, I mean, anybody can see that. Thing about it is, patrolman, as you say, he's here for one short, and they're gonna use you on one respect, if they didn't say it right, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, so we need a motion.
I'll go ahead and make a motion.
A motion,
And Jimmy said, Commissioner Sanders.
and Chester, Roy, we need to include this resolution has a blank for those figures.
Yes.
Even though we're actually only approving this for this budget year, are we not actually approving the next 3 years?
I think you are, in fact, because
Are you
you're
gonna accept
making a
that?
commitment.
I think we are, so that's going to be, written into this, which it's not. So Mike, if you could rewrite this.
Part of the grant requirements,
Yeah.
will be attached to it that basically tells you that you're committed for a 4-year term.
Yeah, but on the thing, it only shows a spot for one. I think that might be rewritten.
But it will be put in there in case that this does not get grant funded next year, or whatever.
That's in the grant.
Yeah.
That's in the grant.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Mr. Wilt may have a point he'd like the commissioners to hear, and it may prompt questions from the commission.
This is the form that is on the Governor's Highway Safety website, and that's what we're required to use. We have to reapply for the continued funding in years 2 and 3. And it is contingent on federal funding being appropriated to the highway safety program. So there would be another application next year.
What you're saying is we're gonna vote on one of these every year for the next 4 years. 3 years, for the next 3 years. Hopefully. Assuming the grant program is still there, we're gonna see that every year for the next 3 years.
Let me change my comment then. Our minutes need to reflect that we have approved this for a 4-year period. Our minutes do, but the resolution we're passing
Just be for
is
year
just for year 1. Okay, I can live with that.
I agree with
Okay, any other discussion?
Motion on that.
What's that?
Motion reflecting.
Okay, but Jenny, accept that section. Sorry about that. Any other discussion?
And you're bundling the budget amendment in that same motion?
Yes, we are.
It's gonna be separate. Just making sure. Thank you.
Okay. Ron, you okay with that? Did you intend that to be the motion? I assume you did. Yeah, it is. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion passes.
For the record, I would also like to say thank you for the support that you all as a whole give our agency. And Jack, Lori, thank you very much for your help. Thank you all.
Back to this work in federal stand back.
Thanks, you back there too.
Absolutely.
When you go to work with the bulletproof vest on, you serve.
It's different.
You serve differently.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I appreciate your call.
Thanks.
Don't leave.
Don't leave, Rob.
Don't leave, Rob. Vehicles.
You're next.
Okay.
Consideration of bids for sheriff vehicles. Sheriff Hall.
Sheriff did this, we had, did these, all approved 6 vehicles in the budget this year. One of them's an SUV, 5 of them are regular police except for vehicles. Put them out for bids, normal bids came in August 21st. The low bid was for Dodge Charger, police interceptor models. The low bidder was a company called, I worked on,
I didn't even know how to pronounce it.
And their bid for the vehicle was $22,087. The next lowest bid was Butler Dodge at $22,439, and the third bid was Franklin Ford for $23,215. The lowest responsible bidder that meets the specs and submitted was Dodge at 5 vehicles for a total of $10,135.
And I catch a lot of grief for how nice these cars looks, and they're like, well, why don't you buy a cheaper car? Again, these are the low bids. They are good-looking cars, but they're also the lowest priced car. And that's what. And I hate that it's not coming into Macon County. I'd love to buy vehicles from Franklin Ford, to be honest with you. But
You just write the specs, you know.
that's it.
And me and the sheriff, we did have this discussion with these on the chairman, and, as much as this whole board is always by, again, local. The fact is, the Dodge Chargers have been pretty well vetted through the state patrol. The kinks that was in them for the past 3 years have pretty much gotten worked out with the fleet that they have, so I think the sheriff and his department would prefer the Dodge Macon car for that one reason only, and plus they're cheaper. As much as we'd all like to give the business here locally, after our discussion, and nobody, if you notice, nobody from Franklin submitted to Dodge proposal.
Right.
I'll say this right here, we've got good mechanics standing right there, though, when it comes to keeping them up. This is more costly to fix it for them than Dodge. Dodge parts is twice as high and brake twice as fast,
Cost more, in the long run, cost more to buy a tractor and go home.
So that's something that was considered.
Legally, we can't run it. I fought that battle.
I'm not like Brittany, what kind of car that you had was a Citation?
Chevy Cavalier.
Oh, yeah.
Those are nice cars, by the
I've
way.
got a Dodge set down there, I'm driving, I throw off on because I know.
All right, motion, we did. So
Motion to approve.
Motion approved, accept the low bid from Dodge, $22,135.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Total, we have total.
We got a total of $110,000.
How many cars? Five cars.
Five cars. We still have enough, I think, left to go ahead and bid the SUV, so we'll be bidding it out next year.
That's what we're trying to figure out, are we under?
There'll be 6 total, these will be 5 of these, and then there's one more SUV. And as far as the equipment that goes with these, then we did approve the extra money for the cameras.
We're good, we're good to go.
That's okay.
Got some money in the other line items.
I know we're looking at it, so
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve these vehicles for 22,087 each. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes unanimously.
Well, they said we both get forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, forward. All right,
Dig your own repair, David.
County Attorney,
Arm too.
subordination agreement regarding community development block grant loan. Jeffy Landland.
Actually, I think county manager planned to. He and I, though, did do some checking What you have in this situation is Mr. Elliott presently is getting ready to do some refinancing. He had borrowed some money through the Community Development Block Grant Program for rehabilitation of housing, as I understand it, roughly about $17,500 owed on that. He is seeking to get a new loan from a local lending institution for roughly $94,500. The lending institution will not make that loan unless it has a first lien position. So we have asked the county to subordinate its position of $17,500 to that $94,500 loan. The county manager and I checked this afternoon to determine what the value of that property was, to determine whether or not there was sufficient equity to support a subordinated position. And what we learned from the county tax records, I believe the value was roughly $136. And the thought was that those two numbers put together, there was still some equity over it. So roughly, what we figure, $26,000 above.
So your recommendation is to?
I think that was the county manager.
Yeah, that's our recommendation. And then the county commissioners have done this in the past. This is the first one that John Day has done since Rick Norton retired. Rick used to handle these on a regular basis when they would come up for various reasons. But this one is, and this is all through the housing program that the CDB wants to on their house from the bank. They need, I'm sure, to take second place on that. It's not unusual as long as there's plenty of money in that to cover.
Sound like there is. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to approve this subordination agreement as recommended.
I'll second.
Payback,
Payback.
Mr. Day. Did you make the motion? Motion by Commissioner Tate, second by.
So, Mr. Chairman, I recuse myself from the vote because it's involved with Macon.
Noted. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay. And all opposed? Opposed? Okay. It passes 3-1 with Commissioner Bill abstaining from this, and note that Commissioner Bill abstaining from the discussion and the vote. All right. Let's move on to H is the, well, county manager request, we have struck G, the refinance resolution we did with that Jack on the 24th. Moving to H, the Cowee School Macon County Heritage Center. We've discussed this last several meetings. Business plan was presented. Mr. Manager, I believe the last meeting, and I guess you have this.
Three items that need to be done. As you recall, the last meeting, the business plan was the county was authorized to be done. Contract with the LTLT, with services of Mr. Stacy Govey, and that was presented for the last meeting. The other three steps following that, the business plan for use of the school. The other steps basically include transfer the property to the county for the school board. The county attorney is working with the school board attorney to get that taken place hopefully very soon. The other thing was to, after the county actually take possession of the building, to implement the business plan that was presented. There's going to have to be a need for a coordinator that we talked about, and so what we have already tonight is a recommendation for a budget amendment to cover the cost of the coordinator plus next year's services, and I think that's 60, I don't have the numbers. 69,448. That covers the contract services of the coordinator, Mr. Guthrie, who we recommend for the fiscal year through June 30th. Also will cover supplies, materials, and other expenses associated with that over the next now through June 30th. We also have a contract for Mr. Guppy, who basically operated very similar to the way we did with our economic development program, on the contract with the county board, just a contract with Boulder County, and he basically followed the
This contract is directly tied to implementation of the business plan.
And then the other item that was associated with county development is a close working relationship with Little Tennessee Land Trust in order for them to work with us cooperatively as far as getting grant money, coordinating projects and so forth, and to support each other as the county endeavors to make this project a self-sustaining entity over the next 2 years. And the county attorney prepared 3 documents there. One of them is the close contract with Mr. Guppy. The other one is a memorandum of understanding between the county and LTLT.
I probably shouldn't take responsibility for the MOU. I think good folks at LTLT made the original draft, and I just provided a little tweak.
The actual contract was began on the 15th of September and go through this fiscal year since June 30th. And there is we have that breakdown of the actual expenditures.
Yeah, the budget amendment that I laid at each space, there's an attachment that lays out the various expenses.
We have to try to answer any questions again.
So, if I read this correctly, we would be putting this as a line item under economic development.
The expenses we pay for the economic development was.
So the economic development, of course, Mr. Jenkins has been very much involved, but with Paul Carlson, the executive director of LTLT, is with us tonight. This probably wouldn't come to fruition without LTLT's involvement. And they have a big investment already in that community, and are willing to help us even more. So I think you would agree that there's a lot of anticipation about this project and what it can do. For instance, I'll just give you for instance. I know for a fact that they've had some problems down at the original store. I think they had a visit from the fire marshal, and they told them what the occupancy rate was. Well, they have that many people that perform. So if we could move those and get that started in the auditorium at Cali School, Paul, I think you'd have to agree that's just one item.
And I think it's important to note that that has actually happened. It actually happened a week ago Friday and turned out to be quite successful. Moving it over into the gym. So it's
All of
already.
them have to be in the gym if you want to have one. I mean, the occupancy, they pay what, 26. Well, they've had that many people down there picking and grinning.
Except if Ronnie Beal comes, it drops to like 20.
I know, I can't perform. That's just an example, Mr. Chairman, of why this is an important project, and it has developed excitement, not only in that community, but across the county. And I think it has good citizen support. There's a lot of people that, they want to see that part of the history preserved. But to do that, it is going to take some investment. The goal is to make it self-sufficient over time, and we will have to work on it. So we're committed to do that, Mr. Chairman.
And that would be my goal, to see it be self-sufficient. It's also to add to our local economy. One thing, back up to my school board days, one of the things that, not a huge concern, but a concern, was when we close these smaller schools out here, what's to become of them? What are they to be dozed? Are they going to become part of the community? And we were pretty successful so far, because the old Octo school sold as a privately owned now, and then the old Union School is being utilized as another school. Of course, this would be a much higher, better use than even solar, just sitting there. So I look at it as an investment in not only our heritage, but locally ourselves.
this and need to be able is the committee and Mr. Tate, so to speak, to the conversations I've had with them, again, deserve all of our support for the plan.
And Mr. Mayor, this is a 9-month contract.
That's
Thank you, at 5 West Main Street.
And if you've not had a chance to read the contract, it's pretty much the same type of contract we have with our economic development side. That, it's, there's no other, no insurance, no, it's just a straight.
He actually used that as a template. I called him out on it today. He used that as a template, didn't write it, because he strictly charged me his next. And he agreed to that, he's not saying. Okay, gentlemen, question for clarification, enough knowledge to make a motion, or if someone's prepared to make a motion, we can discuss it after that.
I'd like to make a motion that we enter into this contract and also the MOU with LTLT. I express my appreciation on behalf of CCDO, of which Paul I know is a member or attends regular, for their help in getting ready for this. I think it is significant to note on the funding request breakout that does not reflect in-kind contributions from CCDO and some of the work that will be done by CCDO. So that number that you see there is a top-end number, not a bottom-end number. That could go down as the community gets involved in the furnishings and the signs and some of the things that they have the capacity to do. And I was just up there not long ago, and they are ready to go to work. They really are. They just need to know that the county has it and they really do want to. So I'd like to make it. What I'd like to say is I'd like to make a motion that we do approve the contract, that we approve the budget amendment, and that we approve the LTLT MOU.
We got a second to that motion.
Second.
We have a motion, excuse me, a second. Any discussion?
So altogether, we're going to 69,000.
That's correct.
Yeah,
It's the second page. Yeah, that is correct.
for 9.5 months.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Be shown to the record reflected it was for.
Thank you.
Okay.
The people of county, and the people of Macon County, thank you.
Gentlemen, the consent agenda is an item that we've been trying to take this forward motion. Unless anyone has anything you'd like to remove from that to discuss. And if not, we'll motion to take care of items A through F.
Just to make sure, Mr. Chairman, that our liaison, Mr. Peppers, is good with the, I looked over the health center page.
It's just an absolute approval of what they already do and what we approved last year. Nothing has changed.
I know what I looked at.
I didn't either, so I called the health director this afternoon. Make sure that nothing has changed. It is exactly the same fee schedule.
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay. Any item that you guys would want to remove? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve items A through F.
The $70,000 grant, with a 25% in-kind match. Just want to make sure everybody read that there's no county money in there. That's no county money there, so.
Motion? We did not do a motion. Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. Do we have a second to that? We have a second from Commissioner Tate. Is that what you said? Yes. All in favor of the consent agenda being approved, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Under item 12, we summarize Dr. Eggy. We have a physician on the Board of Health. Dr. Eggy has been filling that position. He has submitted a letter of resignation.
He has family issues. He's left the Board of Health, and the Board of Health has invited Dr. Phil Berger, who was a former member of the Board of Health, in that role as a physician to replace him. This is a state
rented board with specific membership and therefore doesn't fall under our board.
Is Dr. Berger retired?
Yeah.
Does it make any difference? Yes.
Yes.
Does it make any difference? He's got to maintain his life.
He's still
licensed.
He's still licensed.
He's still licensed.
And
So that's
why they're putting his name forward, and they need to get him in there because Eddie goes.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. We do have a request from our county manager for a closed session, short closed session. And we also reserve the right to use attorney-client privilege.
I was going to say, I think it was for the purpose of discussing potential instructions for the acquisition of property.
Correct.
And I think you probably ought to broaden that to receive and allow me to deliver legal advice and preserve the attorney-client.
And if this is what I think it is, I would anticipate no action from the board. So we'll be receiving information. Kim, do you have a question?
Yeah, can you clarify the six, did I hear you say 69,000 for Duffy?
No, that's not all. No, there's no. Here you go. Here, Kim, take mine.
Please.
Does anyone else have one too?
Yeah.
I think we all need one.
I've got one active.
Here you go.
Well, we've got, that's the.
This has the breakdown levy on the back.
Here you go. Yeah, that's the total package.
Contract.
A copy of your
I don't
contract?
have that either.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I only had one extra
Yeah,
copy.
Rose left this out there, I think.
Stacy.
You can have it, and then you want to then, do you have another one?
I do.
Otherwise, okay, so that.
You'll been around the Village County with LTLT?
Yes. You don't have that.
How about rejection of the bid of the ambulance? That will go with that.
Got everything you need?
You guys, when you need the contract, please.
And that good stuff, if you don't have it, it can be emailed to you.
You want the-
Somebody,
get the-
Jack or somebody, or Mike can email it to you in the morning.
Yeah, does anybody have another little Tennessee agreement,
I
Colin?
think so, hang on.
I've got one.
And did that vote pass? What was the vote on that?
4-1.
Of who abstained or who didn't, who said no?
Commissioner Hayden.
Make sure.
Chairman, that board returns to session, we recess.
Think about.
Yes,
Everybody got it?
we're going to make that announcement. Again, we anticipate no action, come back out of closed session. When we do, I anticipate that I will not adjourn the meeting, but we'll recess until Monday, September 24th. Primary reason for that, we will be able to, we're not going to state specific what, it's just a continuation meeting.
Continuation and local bids.
And we're doing that primarily for the ambulances and if there's other bids. we can
And
take
there
them.
will be some things.
Yes, that's why
There'll be some other important business.
we won't state a purpose so we can take up
Probably
any.
have pretty short session.
I would think so. So we'll, do we have a motion to go into
So
closed
much,
session?
Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Bill, second by Haven to go into closed session to discuss possible acquisition of real property and the attorney-client privilege at 5 West Main Street. All in favor of closed session, say aye. Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank
You can wait around or you can take two after.
Here, Colin, I got one.
Andrew, just the judge, the contract.
Oh, I've got that.
City is